All right, so here we are with the shapes. Let's see. Since I've already created this, let's see. All right, cool. I have it a separate entity. All right, since I've already created this, I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick rundown. Go into your shapes library, shapes tool, or shape tools. Click on the square, create your rectangle, and once you create a rectangle, doesn't matter where it is, it's going to snap to the nearest corner. Click out of it, it's going to highlight. At that point, you can do your dimensions, and we were 12 point there, and 24 point there. And you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It did it like that because lock, unlock. So let's do that again. Click on it. And we'll go 12 point. Oh, sorry, I'm in locations. Let's go ahead and undo that. Undo. So we'll go here to 12 point, tab, there it is. All right, 24 point. Click back on it. There's your rectangle. You can see this is the same as that one. All you're doing is you're going through just creating two different rectangles, and you can orient them, and you're going to do the math up in here. So this I can delete because you now know how to make a rectangle, which I already did. This one here I'm going to take out, and say if I just want a location on that, we're going to go here, and notice how this NURB I got highlighted on that bottom left corner. So I'm going to go, and if I were to just put this and say I wanted to make this at that bottom left corner of the plate, that would be 0.0 in X, 0.0 in Y. And in this case, since we're symmetrical with this, we can go, it was 3 in X and 2 in Y. And you see it already does it. It locates it for you. Now, granted, you can always drag that and just use the squares. Each square is 1 inch. So you can use it like that. So click out of it, set that way, that's that. Now if I hit Alt-S, you see there is nothing being cut. Highlight the entire object there. And there's an easier way to do this, but with this computer, I have to update it. So we're going to go over to above that shapes that you made. There's these simple welds, basic welds, and this XOR. I'm going to hit the XOR weld. That's saying that you want to have a gap there. So that's there. If I highlight that, Alt-S, now you can see there's a cutout. There's several different ways to do this on each of the computers that I have it programmed to the way that I like to do it on that computer. Anyway, so there we are. We have that highlighted. Now, what we have to do is go to Machine, create toolpath, male, and you can go default 1/4 inch. It doesn't matter. I've got several different defaults in here, and we'll go, why not that? I haven't used that one. I don't even know what it is. So we'll see. So that's that. So I've created the toolpath. Now you go to Machine again. Go to Output. Now it's going to come up with this because it's still sitting, the entire object is still sitting in that bottom left corner. So what you do is you take the whole thing and you drag it out. And you can snap it back into the corner and say, I want to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So off the edge, I think this it is move 30 thousandths in X, or I'm sorry, 300 thousandths in X and 300 thousandths in Y. So a little over a quarter-inch off the corner of the plate, which is fine. Now it's still selected, so we can go to machine again, output, and now you can see it's there. And what this is going to do, so before we even do this, I did miss a step, sorry. We're going to save this. And we're going to name it, what did you guys have it named as? Brazing guard. And that's going to save it as a CAD link drawing. Save. Machine. Output. So that way we can see it again. At this point now, we can hit cut preview. I just go straight to cut now because I already know it's a program file. Hit cut now. It's already going to come up with your GM code down there. Your GM code is your actual program code. That's giving your G codes and your M codes. G codes are for movement, M codes are for stop and raising the torch head up and down. We're going to save. Now, so before any of that stuff is said, we just got to make sure that you drink a little bit of beer. And say hi to the industrial Ducky. Make sure you can't do anything inside of programming until you have your key in. But at the same time, I like to keep my thumb drive in for my storage before I even start programming, because it does autosave anyway. So whatever program, if I end up walking away, the computer goes to sleep, I don't lose any of that program. So that being said, now that it's saved, I'm going to go down to my files. Should come up with my recents, and it even shows on this computer, it will show GM. On my computer in the office, it does not show a GM code. I only know the difference because the black here is my CAD link and the white there is my GM code. So this one here, I'm going to highlight, select, show more options, send to, and in this case, I have my thumb drive, my storage, in D. E is always my my license key in order to run this program. So there we go. Store that to D, and just for the sake of being thorough, we're going to go to that. And the name was Brazing, so it actually should be up here. Yep, there it is right there. Brazing file, 11/3/23 at 4:27, and that's it. Then it's saved. And we can close out of that because we know it's there. It's actually on that thumb drive right there. And that's it. I mean, again, real quick, go through the basics. Create a rectangle. Click out. 12 point. 24 point. Gives me that, and Alt-S gets rid of all the black, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, and let's go ahead and snap that to a corner. So I snapped into a corner there, so I will create another rectangle, and this one is only going to be 2 inches by 6 inches. So I can actually do this just without even putting in the measurements. You can actually go and just 2 squares by 6 squares. All right, there's that. And again, I'm going to click out of it. And you do not have to do the math. You could do this off of the actual plate table. This is my plate table here. This is outside of my plate table. I tend to program a lot of this stuff outside of the plate table. Don't ask why. It's just my preference. I'm weird. I know. And that's just it again. On this, you can actually just count the squares, and you don't have to do the math. I prefer to do the math because it's more precise. But when I'm at work on the computer there, that's right, it was 2 by 3. I had to go up 2 squares. That's it there. Highlight the whole thing. And remember, hit Alt-S. Nothing there. You're going to see that red because that's still highlighted there. But it doesn't do anything. You would see an empty spot, kind of like that one there, but you don't there. You're going to go over here to the double circles, XOR weld, cuts it out. Pretty simple. Highlight again. Save that file. That would be your, again, brazing file or brazing guard. Then at that point, then you would go back again to machine, create toolpath. When you create the toolpath, then you go back and you hit machine again, and you output it. Once you output, that's saying that it's saving it to a actual cut file. That's a programmed file. And it's really easy. I mean, again, you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to have this. I'll bring it in and I'll upload it up into the machine. But this is something just to kind of go back on. And this is the simple stuff. Like it's easier for me to show this to you and actually have you in front of a computer and show this to you than it is to do this over the phone. That being said, at least you get some basic principles on it. And there's a ton of different things that you could do. This is about as basic gets. If you actually look at the drawing that was sent, it looks like it's off-centered to one side, and that actually threw me off. But it is not, because if that's a 6-inch square, a rectangle, on a 12-inch plate, it's going to be 3 inches and 3 inches. So don't always trust your instincts on the drawings. Besides that, that's pretty much it. Always go through, double check your measurements and stuff. I mean, this is about as simple as it gets. It's really easy. This here takes all of 5 minutes. Now, if you wanted to nest it, it would be different. Let's see, let's hit Alt-S and highlight this, and there's 6 of them. So you know what? That's right, 6 of them. So let's hit Control D. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that gives me 6 of them. I'm not going to program 6 of them because it doesn't make any sense, because the next time they order this, they may only order 1 or 2 or 3. It doesn't matter. We can always duplicate this. Once this is on the VFD screen in the machine as one, we can always duplicate it as many times as we need to and nest it on the VFD screen itself. So delete. Delete. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm not going to make and dedicate a whole sheet for one program when I can just use one actual piece and duplicate it on the VFD screen in case you want different quantities on the next one, if that makes sense. This way we don't have to stop it midway through. Nothing crazy. Simple, basic stuff. Oops, that pause. Anyway, yeah, again, that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know. I really need to get you here so that way you can, get hands-on with it and, spend the time with it. When the time's coming, we'll get you there so that way you'll have the, the hands-on time, get your key set up and everything else, and then you'll be good to go. So, all right, bud, been doing a great job. Tear it up. You're kicking ass. Keep setting it on fire, bud. You're tearing it up. We'll talk to you soon. I'm sure this video is shaky and all over the place, but that's what I get for trying to program with one hand and hold a phone with another. Meanwhile, trying to talk. Not really my strong suit. Anyway, have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend. See you.